Hey everybody, before we start today's video, I just wanted to let you guys know that on March 28th and 29th, myself and my wife Chelsea will be at Island Entertainment Expo in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island at the Delta. We'll be at table 15. She'll be selling her knit and crocheted goodies as well as some art. So come down, say hi, check out everything, maybe buy a few things, just hang out. We'll be there. Day passes are $30, weekend passes are $50. I'll include links down in the description below. But anyways, on with the video. This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details. Game provided by Koei Tecmo America. Hey everyone, Chris Gildart here with the first Pros vs. Cons mini review. I wouldn't consider myself a mega fan of the Atelier series. I do enjoy the games, but it took me a while to really sink my teeth into it. I started with Rorona, played a few chapters of that, but the first one I actually finished was Eska and Logi. After that, I dipped my feet into Shally, Totori, and Firis. It wasn't until Lulua came along that I actually really got into the series. Now, the Dusk trilogy is out on PS4, Switch, and PC with updated visuals and content. I'm ready to take on these games, but I've never played the first one of the trilogy, Ayesha. I'm kind of expecting a mixture of Eska and Logi with some of the mechanics from the Arlen trilogy. Unlike normal Pros vs. Cons where I go pro, con, pro, con, pro, con, in PvC minis I'll be listing all the pros together and all the cons together based on my first impressions of the game. So now that that's settled, ready, set, pros. So let's start with the easy one first. The art style is great. I've always loved the way Atelier games looked, and Ayesha continues that watercolor style anime aesthetic. Every character looks pretty unique too. I love a lot of the designs I've seen so far. Each character has their own personality too. I don't feel like there's any duplicate characteristics. And this is the game that gave us Wilbell, so I have to give it a plus there. She's so gosh dang cute. Koei, when are we getting Atelier Wilbell? I need answers right now. This is also back in the day when Atelier games had English dubs. Don't get me wrong, Lulua and Ryza were fine without the English voices, but there's just something so nice about not having to read. What can I say? I'm lazy. We also have a pretty interesting story. So far, my favorite entries in the series have had more going on in the story than just, I want to become a great alchemist, or I need to save my Atelier. In this game, Ayesha is an apothecary that makes medicine for a local village from her house. She is the oldest of another sister, Neo, who went missing a while ago while searching for medicinal herbs. The villagers say that she was spirited away, but one day, Ayesha sees an ethereal projection of her sister. A mysterious man appears and says that her sister is still alive, and she needs to use the power of alchemy to bring her back. I'm going to leave the story there because the rest is really good to experience on your own, but know that the story is just really solid. I want to continue playing this and learning more, so you'll definitely see me playing through this and the other two Dusk games. Maybe I'll do PvC mini reviews on them when I start them. Wink wink nudge nudge. The character interactions are also really good in my opinion. I find no one ever deviates too much from the character that we're presented with. They do have some development throughout the story, but nothing substantial to the point where you're like, why is character A doing this thing? They don't seem like the type of character that would be doing that. It all seems so well thought out. I'm also going to mention the combat for this game because I think it's really good. Unlike most turn-based JRPGs, there's a little bit more to do in the battles. You don't just attack or use skills or items. If one of your team members is being attacked and another has enough action points, they can help block that attack. This will damage the character who blocked, but it will usually deal less damage. It also goes the other way though. If one character is attacking and you have sufficient action points, you can do a double attack. This makes combat less of the same old. Another thing that really helps the combat is the ability to speed it up. I don't know if this was included in the original game because I've never played it. My PS3 copy is still sealed, but it makes grinding out battles that much easier. There are 3 settings, normal, 1.5, and 2 times speed. It took me a while to get used to it, but playing at 2 times speed is really super useful. And that's all of the pros. Now it's time for the wrath of the cons! I'm gonna get my biggest gripe out of the way first. I don't think we need this many tutorials. I feel like every time I finish one thing, there's a tutorial greeting me for something else. And it tends to be more than what's needed. Just give me one quick window with a brief explanation. I can figure out the rest from there. At times, it feels like the game thinks that you're a child. I could definitely figure some of this stuff out by myself. There isn't a need for this many tutorials. I've also noticed that the character models stutter when they loop their animations and conversations. This is pretty dang jarring, and I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't fixed. It's a very small thing, but it is definitely a noticeable blemish on this game. Since it's so simple of a thing, it could have easily been fixed, and it seems very lazy to leave something like this in. Again, I've never played the original, so I don't know if this is something that was in the original, but I'm not about to crack open my sealed copy just to find out. Another thing that kind of brings this game down is the grind. This is a first impressions video, so I shouldn't be complaining that a lot of the gameplay feels very been there, done that. You'll be synthesizing a lot of the same items from a lot of the same materials that you've gathered from battling against the same enemies with the same team of characters. I do make it seem worse than it actually is, but it can be tough to make it feel like you're really making a difference in the story. I'll also say that this doesn't feel like a true-blooded Atelier game. I never saw one poonie in my entire time playing this game, and on top of that, you can't interact with the barrels. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is the worst game in the entire series. I can't believe they do this to the Atelier game. Why did they do this to me? Why, Koei? Why? All in all, I did enjoy my time spent with Atelier Ayesha. I'm not sure on what upgrades the DX version got other than the increase in graphics, but overall, this was a fun time. The characters are all interesting, and the combat isn't just your basic attack and skills of usual JRPGs. Synthesizing new items can be fun, but sometimes feels grindy doing the same thing over and over again. I'd say if you want to play this game, don't go too deep into the smaller things and just enjoy the story. Synthesize what you need to synthesize and grind when you need to grind. In the end, I definitely recommend Atelier Ayesha. As of the writing of this outro, I'm nearing the end of the game, and that makes me a little excited to move on to Eska and Logi, and then Shally afterwards. But as far as Atelier Ayesha goes, it gets a thumbs up from me. Go check it out. Maybe someday I'll buy an already open copy for the collection on PS3 and experience the original version. But until then, I'll be grinding away at Atelier Ayesha DX to get the various trophies that lay in wait for me. Thanks everyone for watching the very first PvC mini review. If you enjoyed it, let me know by giving the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be doing a lot more of these with new releases, so keep an eye out for them. What do you think of the Dusk trilogy? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you'd like to help support the channel even further, you can join the Guild via Patreon, just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen. You can join their names at the end of every single video for just $1 a month. Thanks again, folks, and I'll see you all down in the comments.